So it's the 19th of April 2023. It's about 5 p.m. UK time. And this is the first of 3 videos I'm doing on tomorrow's eclipse. This is the neutral perspective. When I did my forecasts for the start of the year, I pictured this time now as being one of the 2 most challenging times of 2023. The second is a period that's coming up next month, over a brief period in the 3rd week of May, where Mars, Jupiter and Pluto are all going to face off, and we'll deal with that one another time. This eclipse is the first of 2. The second one comes on May the 5th, and I will address that in a video straight after this one, or a little bit of it anyway. But the eclipse tomorrow, or the eclipse in about 12 hours time, it is an annular eclipse. It is a ring eclipse. It is a total eclipse, but the moon is going to be closer to the earth than it normally is, so it will not obscure the totality of the sun. Instead, we will see a ring of fire. Now, the eclipse will run basically from the Eastern Pacific, Central Eastern Pacific over Mexico, and then up the eastern seaboard of the US of A into eastern Canada. It's worth noting that in a year from now, I think it's in a year from now, on the 8th of April next year, there is another total eclipse, and this one will also pass over America, and this will be a total eclipse. The moon will be further away from the earth, so it will totally obscure the sun, and that will pass from Washington State, Oregon, down towards Florida. And where the 2 eclipse passes coincide is somewhere around the central southern Texas area, centered on San Antonio, or near as damn it. But that San Antonio area of Texas is going to become a focal point over the next year in a number of different ways. The eclipse tomorrow is taking place at 29 degrees 50 minutes of Aries. It is happening exactly 2 hours before the sun moves into Taurus. The eclipse is the exactness of the eclipse is at 5:18 a.m. UK time, 4:18 a.m. Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time. It starts about 3 minutes before and will run for about a minute after. The moment of greatest totality is at 5:18 UK time. Shortly after that, the sun will move into Taurus, and this will happen at 8:15. So 4 hours, my apologies, not 2 hours, 4 hours after the eclipse, the sun will change sign. The sun and the moon will be together. It is a new moon, but it is an eclipse of the sun. The sun's light will be occluded. It will be hidden from us. In old textbooks, in the ancient books, an eclipse was something to be feared, especially an eclipse of the sun, because the heat and the light of the sun would be occluded from us. It was seen as very disadvantageous to fly or to travel during an eclipse. I personally wouldn't be on an aeroplane during an eclipse of the sun, a total eclipse. The eclipse is going to be very strongly square Pluto. At the moment of the eclipse, the sun will be less than half a degree away. The sun and the moon will be less than half a degree away from squaring Pluto. Now, Pluto will be at the very start of Aquarius, the eclipse will be at the very end of Aries. So it's intercepted. That means it's 89.5 degrees, but that falls within 3 signs instead of 4. So slightly weakened, but nevertheless, it's going to be square Pluto. Now, I'm going to do another video after this on the negative side and then another one on the positive side. But from a neutral perspective, it's pretty damn clear that this eclipse, which is a new moon, let us not forget that. You get a new moon every month. That is when the sun and the moon are in the same degree of longitude in the sky. When they're in the same degree of longitude and latitude, that is when you get an eclipse. An eclipse of the sun doesn't happen that often. When you get 2 in a year, that's very unusual. Solar eclipses. And the square to Pluto suggests that there's a great deal of stuff coming up from the underworld. There's a great deal of delving, digging, there's a lot of forensic activity, there's a lot of research going on, there's a lot of secrets being revealed, a lot of things coming up that have been hidden or suppressed or repressed. This is neither negative or positive. The way we choose to use this energy will influence this, and I will discuss that in the next 2 videos. But wherever you are in the world, at 5:18 UK time, 4:18 Greenwich Mean Time, in 12 hours from now, if you happen to be awake, take time. You should see some rather strange phenomena in nature around you. I've been in a total eclipse path. I've seen the animals all lay down on the ground. I've seen the birds all land. I've seen the bird song stop. Of course, if you really want to do it properly, you'll be out there with your drums and chanting and keeping the energy going while the sun is occluded, because the sun gives us heat, light, and life. Without the sun, we wouldn't be here. So there is a case for making a noise during the eclipse, and I think that's a bloody good idea, personally. If you're fortunate enough to be in a place where you'll be able to see the eclipse, you should see some quite interesting phenomena, if, of course, it's not cloudy. I look forward to seeing the pictures. Right, now I'm going to go and do a video on the negative side of the eclipse. Then I'm going to do a video on the positive side of the eclipse.